I have lost count of how many times a Porsche has rolled into my bay in the first hot week of summer with the air conditioning blowing warm on one side, or the temperature frozen no matter where the owner turns the dial. They almost never look panicked. They look resigned because the dealership has already told them the climate control unit is failing, that fixing it means pulling the dashboard, and that the quote is somewhere around $900. Today I am going to show you why this is one of the most overcharged jobs in the entire Porsche world. Why the part that actually fails costs less than a tank of fuel, and how a $15 fix in your own driveway can solve a problem the dealer treats like major surgery. Because almost every single time I see this, the expensive thing they are quoting for is not what is broken at all. Here is what is really happening in nearly all of these cars. The air conditioning compressor is fine. The refrigerant is full. The system is making plenty of cold air. It simply is not letting that cold air reach the cabin the way you asked because a tiny plastic motor buried behind the dashboard has stopped doing its job. That little motor is called a blend door actuator, or on a Porsche, a flap servo, and on a huge number of these cars, it is the single most common reason the climate control goes wrong. The owner does not need a new climate unit. They do not need the dashboard stripped out. In a great many cases, they need about 15 minutes and a tube of grease. Let me explain how your Porsche actually controls temperature. Because once you understand it, the entire repair stops being frightening. I see it most on the cars from the 1990s and 2000s and on the SUVs, the Boxster and Cayman, the 9096 and 9097, the Cayenne, the Panamera, and the Macan, but the principle is identical right across the range, because they all share the same basic idea of little motors swinging little flaps. When you turn the dial from cold to hot, you are not opening a valve or changing the refrigerant. Cold air is being produced constantly by the evaporator behind your dash, all the time the air conditioning is on. What changes is how much of that cold air is routed past the heater core, which is warm, before it reaches you. A small flap, the blend door, swings back and forth to mix cold and warm air to whatever temperature you asked for. That door does not move by magic. It is driven by a little electric motor full of small plastic gears, roughly the size of a deck of cards, and that motor is the actuator. On the dual-zone climate control most Porsches have, the kind that lets the driver and passenger choose different temperatures. There are at least two of these, one for each side, plus several more for the vents and for the fresh air and recirculation flaps. Each one is a cheap plastic servo doing a simple mechanical job thousands of times over the life of the car. Every time you nudge the temperature, ask for the demister, or let the automatic climate adjust itself on a changing day, one or more of these little motors quietly swings a flap somewhere behind the dash, racking up an astonishing number of cycles over the years without you ever hearing a thing, and plastic gears, turning under load in the heat behind your dashboard, eventually wear out. A tooth strips. The grease that was packed in at the factory dries out and turns to a stiff, sticky paste. The gear slips, and the moment that happens, the flap stops landing where the computer told it to. This is not a sign your Porsche is falling apart. It is simply the most predictable wear item in the whole climate system reaching the end of its quiet little life, exactly as thousands of others have before it. The clever electronics, the expensive control head, the wiring, all of it is still perfectly healthy. One small plastic motor has just lost its grip, and everything you are about to feel and hear flows from that one cheap part. It is worth saying that this is a wear item, not a defect, in the same way brake pads or wiper blades are. Porsche fitted a clever, complicated climate system and then trusted a few pennies of plastic and grease to keep it moving. And after a decade or more of heat cycling, that grease and those gears are simply the first thing to tire. The symptoms that follow are textbook, and once you know them, you can almost diagnose the car from the driver's seat. Air blows hot on one side and cold on the other because one actuator moved and the other did not. The temperature will not change no matter how far you spin the dial because the flap is jammed at one extreme. Air comes out of the wrong vents, defrost when you wanted your feet when you wanted your face, and then the dead giveaway, the one that makes a mechanic smile before he has even opened the glove box, a clicking or ticking sound from behind the dash that changes or gets louder when you adjust the temperature. That clicking is the actuator motor still spinning, still trying, but skipping over a stripped tooth like a key that no longer catches the lock. If you have that sound, you have very nearly found your problem already. Some owners also notice the fault comes and goes with the weather, working fine on a mild morning and failing once the cabin heats up, which is the dried grease stiffening as it warms. Others find one zone slowly drifting out of step with the other over weeks, and all of it points back to the same tired little motor. Now here's the uncomfortable truth most owners never get told. The climate control unit is almost never the thing that is broken. The wiring is fine. The control module that commands these flaps is fine. The thing that actually failed is a $15 to $50 plastic motor, and very often the gears inside it are not even broken, just gummed up with hardened grease. That is a crucial distinction, because a part that is merely gummed up does not need replacing at all. It needs cleaning. But that is almost never how the repair gets quoted, because the way this job gets priced depends entirely on one question that most owners never think to ask. Which actuator is it, and where does it live in the car? Hold on to that word, cleaning, because it is the whole secret. The part the dealer quotes to replace as a sealed assembly is, in most cases, a part you can simply open, wipe out, and re-grease until it works again as if it were new. The failure is real, but it is the cheapest kind of real there is. This is the heart of the whole thing. On some Porsche models, certain flap motors are buried deep in the center of the dash, and reaching them genuinely does require pulling the dashboard, disconnecting airbags, and hours of labor. That is the worst-case scenario. And the worst-case scenario is exactly what tends to land on the estimate, because it covers the shop no matter what they actually find, and because a big invoice with the word dashboard on it sounds serious enough that nobody argues with it. But on a great many of these cars, the actuator that fails most often sits in a far friendlier place, behind or beside the glove box or low down under the dash, reachable after removing a panel or two. The difference between a 15-minute job and a 7-hour job is enormous, and the owner almost never knows which one they are actually being charged for. And because the symptoms are identical whichever flap is at fault, an owner has no way of knowing from the driver's seat whether their particular fault is the easy 15-minute one or the genuinely buried one, which is exactly the uncertainty a worst-case quote quietly trades on. Think about what that means for a moment. The same part, the same failure, the same symptoms can be a $15 fix in your driveway or a 4-figure ordeal at the dealer, and the only real variable is whether someone bothered to check the easy location first. Shops are built around the expensive answer. A quick reach behind a panel does not look impressive on an invoice, it does not justify a big diagnostic fee, and it does not move a costly replacement assembly off the parts shelf. So the cheap path quietly gets skipped. Not always out of dishonesty, but because the whole system is designed around replacing assemblies rather than fixing the cheap component inside them. The one person who benefits from knowing the cheap path exists is you, and only you. That is not a reason to distrust every workshop, because plenty are honest and genuinely skilled, but it is every reason to spend 10 minutes checking the simple things yourself before you ever sign off on the expensive ones. If you found this interesting, feel free to check out my ebook in the description or scan the QR code on the right, and don't forget to subscribe. So let me show you the cheap path, the part the dealer quietly hopes you never learn. First, you confirm that it really is the actuator and not something else, because guessing wastes money. With the engine running and the air conditioning on, set the temperature to full cold, wait a moment, then full hot, and listen carefully. If one side refuses to change, if air starts coming from the wrong vents, or if you hear that telltale clicking from behind the dash as you move the dial, you are almost certainly dealing with a flap actuator. If instead the air is weak everywhere, but the temperature does respond properly, that is a different problem, usually a clogged cabin filter or a blower issue. And if the system is blowing nothing but warm air on both sides with no clicking at all, that points toward refrigerant or the compressor, which is a genuinely separate repair. The clicking and the one-sided behavior are your signature. That is the cheap fix talking to you. It really is worth taking these 2 minutes, because this one listening test sorts the cheap problem from the genuinely expensive ones before you have spent a penny or removed a single screw, and it is exactly the step the dealer breezes straight past on the way to the big quote. Once you have confirmed it, the access on the friendlier models is usually through or beside the glove box, or a lower trim panel under the dash. You drop the glove box down by releasing its stops, or remove it entirely with a few screws and by unclipping the damper arm, and you clear away any lower panel in the footwell that is in the way. Behind it, often tucked up under some plastic ducting, you will find the actuator. It is a small box held by a couple of screws, usually 2 or 3, with a single electrical connector and a little plastic arm sticking out of it that connects to the flap linkage. Many of these are well-built units, which is exactly why cleaning so often works instead of replacing. The motor itself is rarely dead. It is the grease and the gears that have simply seized up around it. Take a photo on your phone before you unplug or unbolt anything, so you have a clear record of how the connector and the little arm were sitting, and keep the few screws somewhere safe. None of this needs special tools, just patience, a screwdriver, and a torch to see up under the dash. Here's the genius of the fix, and why it can cost you $15 instead of $900. You unplug the connector, remove the few screws, and take the actuator out. Then you carefully open its plastic housing. Inside, you will see the small plastic gears, and very often you will find the original grease has dried into a hard, sticky film, or that the gears are simply dirty and binding against each other. You clean all of that old grease off, inspect the teeth closely, and if the gears are intact, which they usually are, you pack them with fresh white lithium grease, the same stuff that costs a few dollars at any parts store. You put it back together, reinstall it, plug it back in, and that loud, erratic clicking the dealer wanted $900 to silence is simply gone. Owners who do this describe turning the dial afterwards and watching that little arm glide smoothly again, with full hot and full cold restored on both sides for the price of a tube of grease. The reason cleaning works so reliably is that the motor and the electronics inside were never the problem in the first place. Only the dried lubricant and the friction it created, so once that is gone, the original perfectly good parts are free to move again exactly as Porsche intended. And if a gear tooth really is stripped and cleaning is not enough, you are still not in any trouble because the replacement actuator itself is cheap. A flap servo for these accessible locations is commonly somewhere in the $15 to $60 range, and it bolts in exactly where the old one came out. A few screws and one connector. You are not pulling a dashboard, you are not touching an airbag, you are doing the very same short job you would have done to clean it, just fitting a new part instead of a cleaned one. When you do buy a replacement, fit a genuine Porsche or quality original equipment part rather than the cheapest copy you can find, because the budget actuators are often where people end up back in the same spot a year later, and even the good one is still a tiny fraction of the dealer's bill. Either way, the expensive assembly the dealer wanted to sell you never enters the picture. There is one more detail that matters, and it is where a lot of people get nervous for no good reason. On Porsches with automatic climate control, the system needs the flaps to know their home positions, the points it treats as fully open and fully closed. After you reconnect everything, many of these systems will re-reference the flaps on their own, running a quiet calibration sweep when you cycle the ignition, or after the battery has been disconnected, driving each flap to its end stops to relearn where they are. On a good number of models, you simply reconnect, start the car, let it settle, and test through the full temperature range. I will be straight with you though, because some Porsches do want a diagnostic tool to run that flap calibration properly, so it is worth knowing your specific model before you start. And a good independent specialist can run that calibration in minutes for a fraction of a dashboard repair if your car needs it. The key thing is simply not to panic if the temperatures behave a little oddly for the first minute or two after you reconnect, because that is very often just the system finding its end stops again, and it usually settles into normal behavior on its own once it has finished that sweep. Now let me be honest with you about when this fix does not apply, because knowing that is just as valuable as knowing when it does. If your actuator is one of the deep buried units in the center of the dash rather than the accessible one, the part is still cheap, but the labor is real, and that may genuinely be a job worth paying a specialist for. If your air conditioning is warm on both sides with no clicking and no one-sided behavior, do not go chasing flap motors at all. Look at the refrigerant and the compressor instead. That is a genuinely different repair with a different cause, and no amount of cleaning a flap motor will ever touch it. And if your airflow is weak everywhere, then before you spend a single dollar, pull the cabin pollen filter, which on many of these cars lives right behind the same glove box you would be opening anyway. A clogged filter is another cheap item that shops love to fold into an expensive air conditioning service. So while you are in there for any reason, simply change it. You are already there. Matching the fix to the actual symptom like this is the whole game, because the fastest way to waste money on one of these cars is to throw the cheap fix at a problem that was never an actuator in the first place. This is the mindset shift I really want you to walk away with. A Porsche climate problem is not automatically a major repair. The most common version of it, by a wide margin, is a tiny plastic motor with tired gears sitting in one of the more reachable spots in the car. And the gap between that cheap reality and the expensive quote is built almost entirely on the assumption that you will never look for yourself. The clicking behind your dash is not a death sentence. It is one of the most useful noises your car can make, because it points straight at a cheap, fixable part rather than an expensive one. It is information. It is telling you exactly which cheap little part to clean or swap. So before you ever authorize a dashboard repair, before you hand over a four-figure estimate, open the glove box, listen for that click, set the dial from cold to hot, and check the easy answer first. The dealer is counting on the fact that you will not. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check the ebook in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.